Alright, good morning everybody. We are back at it with some more post-ban Pioneer testing. There are so many decks that I want to be playing right now, but I'm going to be honest, I was just tempted to break out my Gran-Gran Vivi combo again with some updates. I've been looking through some cards and I've wanted one other win not win condition in the deck, but one other payoff card, and I think I found it. We've got Ral Crackling Wit here, and this card also, like everything else, Gran-Gran, Vivi, are cheap artifacts that produce mana here, just synergizes with everything in the deck. He triggers on non-creatures, not just instants and sorceries. So if we can play a Ral or untap with a Ral, and then play 6 instants and sorceries in one turn, that is an ultimate. And if you've seen the combo turns with Vivi, it's pretty reasonable to cast 6 non-creature spells in one turn in this deck. Like even just a this town ain't big enough into return any of our 0 mana or 1 mana plays is 3 or 4 casts just right there with one card. So not an issue to ultimate this in on the turn it comes down or the turn after. Also, the +1 is a good backup win condition, making otters with prowess that can either tap to our Springleaf Drum or we can just attack with them. We also have it also is a planeswalker. Mox Amber cares about not just legendary creatures but also planeswalkers. So he does turn on Mox Amber. And we just have the same synergies here with play Ral, play Mox Amber, boomerang basics, the Mox Amber, cast the Mox Amber again. That's 3 casts. If we have multiple boomerang basics, we just can easily ultimate Ral the turn it comes down. The ultimate, draw 3 cards and then you get an emblem. Instants and sorceries have Storm. It should be relatively easy to win the game once we have that down. It's not just a deterministic kill if we ultimate Ral, but casting a flow state with Storm, accumulate wisdom with Storm, we should be able to draw enough cards to eventually find the win, get a VV down, and just card advantage our opponents out of the game. A few changes to the sideboard. I really liked how Broadside Barrage tested in Blue-Red Elementals, so we are going to run that over Searing Shot. The double red is a little bit harder in this deck, and having the draw discard is good in this deck. Also, instant speed is really nice to be able to kill Shieldred on our opponent's turn to stop them from gaining 2 off of an Unholy Annex. And then the rest is just general good sideboard cards. Sideboarding is really weird in this deck. We can't cut too many cards. So likely only ever bringing in 3, like either the Spell Pierces or the Soul Guide Lanterns or the Abrades. Never sideboarding in a bunch of these cards. Oh, not sure what I hit there. Okay. And all right, let's get into it. I think that's everything for the deck tech today. Let's hop into some ranked. Golgari is rough. We do have some draws that just will overpower them, but there are all... Oh my gosh. Sorry, I got tricked by the Verges. Okay, and just talking about how Golgari is rough. First matchup right into Golgari this morning. I will say the more we play in this post-ban Pioneer meta, the more that turn 1 Thoughtseize is... It's a lot. We see it all the time. And like, here's the double Thoughtseize. They've got Duresses too. I wish there was better options against this. Okay, so we draw Springleaf Drum. We'll cast it. So if we find any creatures, we're super punished by keeping this. I wasn't paying attention to these lands. Sorry about that. I wish that these lands would show up like this in your opening hand. Yep. So this is what I mean. These decks, sometimes when you're playing against Golgari, okay. We'll take one more draw, but having double mountain. All right, they have a Delian. We need to hit something this turn. It's probably too late. They just go with game 3 instead of... All right, we do draw Steam Vents, so we don't just have to concede. We have... So if we can Boomerang this Storm Chasers and then cast a Flow State. We can't do anything about this ultimate this turn, so we do just have to play through it. Make a blue here. Just return the Storm Chasers. Okay, we find a Gran-Gran. Let's just cast this Flow State. All right, let's take Untap Land and Boomerang Basics. Then we'll pass. Potentially we have a strong turn next turn. We have the Boomerang Basics to get Gran-Gran up to 3. And then any of our Accumulate Wisdoms are turned on. See what they have here. So they are okay, we'd love to see that. Do they have another piece of hand hate? Nope, just a land into an Emeritus of Abundance. Okay, so we can have a good turn here. We'll start off with land. We really want to kill this Delian. I don't think there's a way we can. So all of our turns are starting off with Gran-Gran here. And then we'll Mox Amber. We will use the Boomerang Basics to get the 3rd lesson in the graveyard for this Gran-Gran. All right, that's perfect. Let's cast this first. Keep the Mox Amber in hand in case we draw a Vivi. Okay, draw 3. We find a Ral. We can cast the Ral, but then our turn is over. Because we play Mox Amber. They can get back a Thoughtseize next turn. All right, let's... Yeah, so we play Ral, we make another... Or do we just -3 discard? No. Yeah, so this can't kill anything. The biggest... You know, Abrupt Decay can't kill the Ral. So let's just get Ral down. He's protected from... Yeah, there's no way, because we just make a mana, and that's just another cast. So let's... Play Ral. We will just make another Otter. And we will attack Delian. Give them... Okay, so they will chump block. They can regrowth a piece of hand hate here. We are taking 3. But... Okay, so they regrowth Abrupt Decay Gran-Gran. All right, so a solid turn from them. They get in at Ral for 3. Let's go ahead and chump block here. We're close to ultimating this Ral. And especially with finding another Gran-Gran. So we don't need to cast Gran-Gran first because this is only 1 mana. So let's... Alright, so that should be the ultimate, if I'm counting right. So there's 7. Get another counter. Okay, alright, that is the ultimate. So play the Mox Amber. Now we will cast this Springleaf Drum for 0 mana. And we can cast one more. Yeah, let's go ahead and activate our Springleaf Drum here. All right, we can discard a Spire Bluff Canal. Now we can cast this Storm Chasers. Now we Ultimate Ral. All right, we find Vivi. We cast Vivi. Play Untapped Land. We have... Is this going to deck us? No, but all right, we get our... All right. We just won through triple hand hate into Abrupt Decay, Regrowth, Abrupt Decay. What an insane performance in game 1 from Rao. All right, against Golgari, what is our one sideboard card we want to bring in? Potentially the Broadside Barrage. This kills just about every threat in their deck. Against Golgari, I'm usually okay with trimming some of the slower, more... Oh my gosh, excuse me. I'm okay with trimming some of the air. We don't want to go under 3 Mox Ambers. Maybe just 2 Broadside Barrages. Could potentially cut another Springleaf Drum. Very cool game last game. So we would have easily been able to... We would have drawn like 30 cards, had our whole deck in our hand, and then just cast our cheap artifacts plus This Town Ain't Big Enoughs with Vivi in play. And eventually that untapped Otter would have been giant, and we could have just attacked. All right, this hand with a Gran-Gran potentially would have been a keep, but no Gran-Gran, no keep. Okay, this hand is good. We're just going to discard the combo piece, or sorry, not discard, return the combo piece here. Leaves us the most resilient to a bunch of hand hate, which we know that they're going to have. So they're going to take flow state here. We draw another Vivi. Don't love that. We'll likely be discarding one of them. They have another Duress. Well, we're going to see how many pieces of removal they have for Vivis this game. They find a Graveyard Trespasser. All right, cast a Vivi. This one is probably going to die. Take 3 here. We need just any non-creatures. Ral is good here. So they have the Unholy Annex. That puts a lot of pressure on us. All right. Abandoned Attachments is nice here. Let's discard the 3rd Vivi. And Flow State is not turned on. Gonna be hard to get it turned on through this Graveyard Trespassers. So let's just cast a Slow State here. Find a Gran-Gran plus a This Town Ain't Big Enough. So So this town, we don't have anything on our side to return with this town. But still, just bouncing two of their creatures doesn't sound like the worst. So let's go ahead and take this. We could bounce Vivi, bounce their Unholy Annex. We are not going to do that. We're just going to get in for 2 and pass. So Vivi dodges Fatal Push, but they have a Terra Sunder. Just Terra Sunder and then probably exiling Flow State here. Come on, opponent. All right, discarding the Abandoned Attachments. They're down to 10. Find another land. This doesn't have any keywords, just Ward. I think we are just playing Ral -3. No, I think we play Ral plus and we can chump the Graveyard Trespasser and plan to -3 next turn. So this is bad. Actually, let's plus up. This dodges a lot of their removal. They need another Terra Sunder. Abrupt Decay doesn't kill Ral. None of their creature removal spells kill Ral. Delian doesn't kill Ral. It's really just second Terra Sunder. And if we can dodge it for 1 turn, we're in a super good position. So they have a Thoughtseize to take our third Vivi. But they do need to answer this Ral. All right, so they attack. We are 100% chump blocking here. And all right, so we chump block this. Likely minusing Ral this turn. They are down to 7. All right, we find a Mox Amber. Is there any way we ultimate Ral? So we Mox Amber, go to 6. This town ain't big enough, go to 7. Cast Mox Amber again, go to 8. No, so no way to ultimate. So we will minus the Ral. We just need cards here. Okay, so we need to discard 2. Likely just killing this Emeritus of Abundance this turn. So we're keeping this. You know, we can discard land here plus Springleaf Drum. Cast the Mox Amber. And we can leave up that this town ain't big enough. Do we kill this now? Yeah, we'll kill this now. Just discard a land. We have the this town ain't big enough. Oh, hello, what's up? Playing some Vivi Gran-Gran combo here. I love this deck. We are running Ral in it today as another win condition. He's been pretty insane. We are getting Golgari'd right now, though. They're going to exile Vivi? Sure. Gain a life. They are under quite a bit of pressure from this Unholy Annex. Ral will go to 1. Remember, we cannot return this to their hand because it does have Ward. If they just play land, unlock Ritual Chamber. Okay, they Shieldred. We will put the trigger on the stack, and now we will return Shieldred, return Mox Amber. Put them to 6. Oh, man, but we just find a land here. So we need to Mox Amber. We will float a blue, and we are going to have to cash in this Ral. Okay, so we'll discard land, discard Gran-Gran. All right, play the Storm Chasers. Hello, Arena. There we go. Return the Storm. Okay, Broadside Barrage here is nice. We can kill Graveyard Trespasser, attack for 3. Well, actually, they're at 6. We know they have the Shieldred in hand, so potentially we want to save this for Shieldred. Let's just... Oh, this has Summoning 6. Let's make another Otter. Leave up the Broadside Barrage for Shieldred. That way if their turn is just cast Shieldred, pass, we can just kill it and make them take another 2. And then we're untapping with 2 Prowess creatures with them on 4. If they attack here, we have... Okay, they have Unlicensed Hearse. That's fine. They have the Mutavault, but we have the Broadside Barrage to kill that. They activate Mutavault. Let's see if they attack with Graveyard Trespasser. Okay, they leave it back to block. We'll do the same thing. Let them put that trigger on the stack. Kill the Mutavault. Put them to 4. They send this emote that is little Hedron dying. And we just draw a Mox Amber. Would have loved to find literally anything there. So the problem here is we level up Storm Chasers and then they just exile whatever we find with Hearse. Yeah, not much we can do about that. Is this our... No, it's our second Mox Amber. Yeah, really needed any spell here. We can cast this Mox Amber. We attack for 2. Put them to 2, and then that forces them to cast the Shieldred this next turn. Again, it's not great, but it's all we have. Alright, they just Abrupt Decay. Not sure why they did that instead of just activating the Hearse, but... So we attack for 2 here. We put them to 2. And now they're forced to either Shieldred or find land plus unlock Ritual Chamber. We're not in a great spot here. This next turn, Boomerang Basics is probably the best draw. So they have a Professor Delian. Are they just plussing? So they plus to gain 3. They found a Fatal Push for Otter. We're losing control of this one pretty quick. We need to draw this turn. They go to 4. Spire Bluff Canal is not it. All right. We'll be settling this one in game 3. Not sure. Maybe there was the turn that we cashed in the Ral, maybe we should have just plussed up for an Otter and tried to keep it around for one more turn. I'm not sure. Don't think we're bringing in Spell Pierce. Let's just run it back. This matchup's feeling a little bit closer than it has sometimes. I do still think this is a bad matchup for us. Okay, we have one land. I hate mulliganing against Golgari. If we find a second land, this hand is pretty good. Yeah, mulliganing is just so risky in this matchup. I don't love this hand, but the odds that we go to 6 and yeah, they have the duress. Well, bummer. They take the boomerang. We find another 1-drop, but a little bit unfortunate. I maybe too greedy to keep that. Just the one land or mulliganing in this matchup is just almost always a concession by itself. They do need to kill this otter, or we can flow state next turn to start trying to dig us out. All right, they do find a fatal push. Okay, we do find another land. Let's start with a slow state, and that finds us our third land. See what... Oh man, trading an Abrupt Decay for Springleaf Drum here? Let's go. Our opponent has been... Okay, just Shieldred here is fine. Alright, they just have Shieldred. We'll take 2, but we have the answer for that, and the answer to it turns on our flow state. There's no way we're so greedy to cast this Vivi first, so we're just going to kill Shieldred here. This is a hard discard. I think it's land. These 3 cards are just insane. Do they have another? Oh man, they have the Thoughtseize. Hard take here with this Thoughtseize. Our hand is pretty good here. I'd have chosen the land too. Yeah, it's... Okay, oh man, and they untap and play Delian. Okay, so we've... Alright, we're just starting off with a flow state. Let's probably land Boomerang. Let's go land Boomerang. So we can play this, return Storm Chasers, make another Otter, and just be setting up for a bigger next turn. Getting another lesson in the graveyard for Gran-Gran. Alright, yeah, their last card being... Oh my gosh. Dude, this Golgari deck always hits. Is their last card just another... Alright, they draw a card, lose a life. They're at 10, they play a land. We just have land. Bummer. Alright, let's play Vivi. Pass the turn. They have Mutavault to block our Otter. Yep, they're able to kill Vivi here. Alright, Ral is a hit. This can't kill Planeswalkers, no, just creatures. There's no way that they're using this emote with how hot they've ran. That's crazy. They have they have drawn like runner runner for 3 turns in a row here. And they're really going to do that emote. That's so crazy from them. All right, we get to trade Otter with Mutavault here. I think we will chump with our Otter if they fire up their Mutavault. Looks like we... actually, they're pretty low. And this Ral stays alive. We can let it take 2. Oh, we still have no instants or sorceries. So we'll grow Ral. Make an Otter. Are we attacking Delian here? Yeah. They likely have Fatal Push. But just getting this Delian off the battlefield is really nice. If it goes through. Okay, so it seems like they have drawn just lands. We get a little bit of reprieve. Okay. Do we level up a Storm Chaser's talent for no reason here? We have the second one to get something back. Let's get one Storm Chaser's talent on level 2. So we have the threat. Oh man, they draw the Terra Sunder. All right. Ooh, but we find a Boomerang Basics. That's nice. So let's Boomerang the one on level 1. See if they found an Abrupt Decay to kill this in response. They don't. They concede. Let's go. Enters. Okay. Oh, this hand. We go first. If Gran-Gran lives, this hand goes crazy. Again, kind of risky. Oh man, just against Golgari again. 3 Fading Hope, 3 Secrets, 4... What is Triton? Okay, are we running... Let's attack with Gran-Gran here, see what we draw. All right, we find second land. Honestly, against Golgari, let's just keep all of the card draw. Discard this. Plan to abandon attachments, discard this flow state. Yeah, looks solid. So yeah, 2 deep water roots, then lands, 2 Mutavault, 4 Cavernous Souls, 2 Island. Oh, it's... Alright, we're against Greasefang. River Herald, 3 Silvergill, Disruption Protocol, 3 Merfolk Trickster, 2 Metallic Mimic. Yeah, it looks like a solid list. Yeah, let's cast this, discard Flow State. Now any future flow states are turned on. Do not love another Gran-Gran. So we're going to quickly cast this. Get rid of this Gran-Gran. Alright, Springleaf Drum is a nice find here. I want to keep the cards flowing because we potentially need a big turn next turn. But I also want to leave all these in hand for Ral. They know about the Accumulate Wisdom. So let's plan to cast it. Play this Mox Amber. No attacks. Do we... You know what? Let's cast this Springleaf Drum and be able to tap the Gran-Gran. This is the highest upside. Do they have Parhelion? Doesn't look like it. I think they would have slammed it there. Yeah, it looks like Secrets of the Key and Disruption Protocol are underrated. I agree. I think that Mono Blue is a good place to be for budget. I was thinking of like a Mono Blue Spirits list yesterday because there are a lot of like annoying blue cards. All right, so they will draw a card here. Are they going to make a treasure now? They drain us for 3 instead of making a treasure. Okay. So let's just tap Gran-Gran first, see what we draw. We draw a land. We will discard the land. Let's go to our turn. Okay, we find a second Mox Amber. Let's tap Gran-Gran, see what we draw. We draw a Vivi. Okay. Yeah, spirits maybe really, but that's... I was thinking a little bit yesterday. I think there could be something there with spirits too. All right. I think we're valuing... Let's discard this Mox Amber. Play Ral. And we're going to be a little bit greedy here. And we're going to minus. If we find... Oh my gosh. Okay, well... It was greedy. It did not pay off. I don't... We can cast this now. This way, if we draw any... Oh, wow. We are just not... There are lessons in the deck, I swear. So we are going to lose this Ral next turn to an attack from the Guardian of Benalia. They are just digging for Parhelion. Let's see if they found it. All right, so next turn... Only one sorcery, too. So Ral will die this turn, but we do have Vivi ready to go. Again, now any accumulate wisdom or flow state, and we're off to the races. Would love to dodge exactly a Thoughtseize this turn. So they kill Ral. Again, was maybe greedy to minus there. It's just, if we hit any lesson, we just get to go nuts with that accumulated wisdom. So I think the upside was there. We don't dodge the Thoughtseize. So they're going to take Vivi. Oh, they take Storm Chasers. Not... All right. If they have Fatal Push to go with it, I can understand taking the Storm Chasers. Yeah, we have a lot of good draws. We've gotten through a lot of the bad draws. I do like this deck. If it... like is... Okay, we finally draw something. Let's go Vivi. Let's go accumulate wisdom. Notably, Fatal Push does not kill Vivi here, it just kills Gran-Gran. If they had Fatal Push, they probably would have used it there. Okay. And we hit a bunch of lands. So let's tap Gran-Gran here. We need more card draw. No, we draw Steam Vents. Okay. So pass here, play land for turn. And we'll just pass. We have a blocker here for the Guardian of New Benalia. And if they try to kill our Vivi, we can just return Vivi plus return their creature. Sorry, I always have to reread and list. When it attacks, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control. You add its power. Okay, so they can attack into the Vivi if they play one of the 3 power creatures. All right, while they're thinking, what is Silvergill Mentor? Silvergill Mentor. Oh my gosh, what did I click on? All right. They discard to draw. Looks like they're digging for Parhelion here. They're also kind of whiffing a little bit. Behold a Merfolk or pay 2. Oh, I like that. Just another 2 mana. Oh my gosh, they have another Thoughtseize. So we'll respond. And so we have to let them take one of our cards here. So they can have our Mox Amber. And let's just put the Monument back in their hand. They get to Thoughtseize this Mox Amber. The thing that's awkward here is we are triggering Revolt. So they can Fatal Push our Vivi now. I don't love that we had to do that, but getting a turn of reprieve from Monuments also nice. They're not just slamming this Fatal Push here. So potentially they don't have it. Hard to imagine what they do have. Maybe just double Greasefang. And they've been looking for Parhelion this whole time. Oh, wow. They discard the Monument. Oh, and then recommission. Okay. That makes sense that that's what their hand was. So we have 2 draws here. We have our draw for turn, plus we can tap Gran-Gran again. Oh, that did reset. Okay, so their hand was a Greasefang. Okay, let's go. Very good draw, obvious. Into a flow state. All right, we should be able to win from here. All right. There is the win. We get another Mox Amber, and we don't even have to do anything fancy here. We can win the game just by casting Boomerang Basics onto the Mox Amber. All right. Good to go up 1-0 against Greasefang after they had a pretty solid opening hand. So good to see that we were resilient enough to grind through that. As far as sideboarding goes, Budget Spirits is the new meta. Had no clue they made a mana leak. Yeah, that Geistlight Snare is super good. And you get a lot of the good spirits are rares like Rattle Chains. The Lord is a rare, Supreme Phantom. But I think there's an uncommon version that you can build. Obviously going to be weaker, but you can just be running Curious Obsession for card draw. All right, sorry. Sideboarding, Abrades in. I'm going to continue with the theory that in these grindy Thoughtseize matchups that we're okay with trimming some of the fat. Cut one Mox Amber, one Springleaf Drum, and one Abandon Attachments. Cut these cards that, if we're getting our hand torn apart, we really only want to see one. And if we do see two, it can just be game losing after getting Thoughtseized. It seems to be working all right so far. Let me know how you would sideboard. Is there any other cuts that you would make? Yeah, Mausoleum Wanderer Supreme. Yeah. Those are some of the best spirits, so it is a little bit rough that those are rares. But I think there's a uncommon friendly version that you can build. All right, opponent is on a mulligan to 5 here. Our hand is, we do get to do one of the funnest turn ones in Pioneer. I'm not sure it's good, but it's fun. Oh, and they don't have a Thoughtseize to interrupt it either. So we go Gran-Gran, we go Mox Amber, we go Storm Chaser's Talent. What a cute little turn one. Again, I'm not convinced that it's good, but we do get to feel like a modern deck or a legacy deck when we do that. Oh, yeah, we're going to return this. All right, finding Springleaf Drum is nice here. Really just looking for an instant to turn on this flow state. Make a blue here. All right, just another land. Yeah, we will discard a land. All right, casting a slow state. Again, don't love this. All right. This is a little bit... man, I wish this was a real flow state. So we can take the Abrade so we don't lose. Alternatively, we take Ral and try to win. Let me know what you would take. Let's go with the Ral and just try to finish this one. We might instantly regret this. Let's see what their turn 3 is here. We can beat a Monument. Okay, they just have a Grease Fang. All right, so we will play this Ral. And let's minus. There's some draws here where we just get to go crazy. So we have not played land for turn, so we'll keep land. Let's discard and abandon attachments. That's an easy one. It's probably just Mox Amber. Let's tap our Gran-Gran for mana here. Okay, we find a flow state. Part of me really wanted a Braid, but I think Ral was the move. Yeah, it's that question of, are we playing to win, or are we playing to not lose? Ral was the play to win choice. A Braid was the play to not lose. They did just slam Greasefang, so there is a chance that they untap and kill us, but I'm happy with the choice we made. I'm going to discard this Accumulate Wisdom. It lets us 1 mana flow state. All right. Sorry, so this is we have played a land this turn. I thought this was our turn 4. So since we've played a land and can't leave a... yeah, we can't leave a Braid up this turn. We're going to take the double Boomerang basics and look to ultimate this Ral next turn. Just looking to dodge Parhelion. Thoughtseize is also pretty good against us here. Monument's fine. All right, so they have Parhelion, so they can kill Ral, but we do just get to untap and play Vivi. So as long as they don't have a Thoughtseize to follow this up second main, I think we're fine. This card's cool. 3 mana, get Parhelion. Okay. So let's play Vivi. And let's tap Gran-Gran first, see what we find before we do anything else. All right, just another Gran-Gran. But we don't need another land. So now we can start the loops here with Mox Amber. Really need to find one more source of card advantage. Yeah, Gran-Gran was not what we were looking for here. So play the Vivi. Yeah, really would like one piece of card draw here. All right, this town ain't big enough is a good find because we get to play the Mox Amber, and now we get to... We have 3, so this is free. Yeah, let's return Springleaf Drum Mox Amber with this. Play Mox Amber again. And this deck is just so sick when we get to do this. Play Springleaf Drum. Now we can... Let's see. We don't have enough mana to return before we activate our Storm Chasers. So, yeah, because just 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's activate Vivi. Make a bunch of blue. Level up Storm Chasers. Grab an Accumulated Wisdom, most likely. Yes, we're down to 1 Boomerang Basics, notably. Does this town get the kill? That's 1, 2, 3. No, this town doesn't get the kill. So let's grab some card draw here. Well, actually, this town... This can't make any mana. Okay, so this town ain't big enough does get the kill here. Because we can return both Angels and attack with Otter. Yeah, let's just take the guaranteed win here. So return Angel, return Angel. Making sure, yeah, we're not tapping our Otter awkwardly. And yeah, attack with this Otter. Wow. Easy 2-0 against Greasefang. Love to see that. This hand is suspicious. If we draw... Any card draw in this hand is good. We're going to keep. It's close. It's so hard to mulligan in Pioneer in game 1 before you know what you're against. All right, we are against a combo deck. So this hand is not great against lands. We draw a 5th land, which is pretty bad. All right, they have turn 2 Minstrel. Minstrel. Oh my gosh, we find another land. Yeah, this was not what we wanted to find. We can go Ral next turn. But the odds... Are we just dead here? They get 3 lands. They get 2 Lotus Fields. Potentially dead here. Let's auto pass and talk about languages. In Portuguese, it is doctor. Doctor, heavy emphasis on the tor. In Brazilian, it's da cor. Ah, okay, I see. Doctor. . 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 。 。 。 。 . 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 . 。 。 think we're dead here. Yeah, we're looking pretty dead here. So some, yeah, like Brazilian Portuguese, maybe taking the route of like easier to pronounce parts of like still the same word, but just a little bit easier to pronounce some of it. Oh, I'm half Portuguese and learned from a friend I made from Brazil. Okay. Oh, that's cool. So, how many languages can you speak? That's really cool. All right. Sideboarding here. I found Soul Guide Lantern to be kind of mid in this matchup. So, I'm going to bring in the Spell Pierces instead. Row's a little bit slow here. We can cut the Rows, cut one Abandon attachments. They can't interact with us very well, so once we have the Vivi down, like we can just win with Vivi. All right. Much better keep than our last one. Really just looking for a Gran-Gran or a Vivi, and this hand goes insane. All right, Spell Pierce is a nice pickup here. Let's go Boomerang into Storm. Okay, we find Vivi. That's awesome. Let's play second Storm Chasers here. I would like to leave the Spell Pierce up, but it's just way too obvious to leave it up here. And yeah, if they just have this guy, then it doesn't do anything. Okay, we brick on third land. Used to be two, but I really let Spanish go. Family wouldn't let me learn Portuguese, so I wouldn't have an accent. Ah, yeah, I hear that a lot from families that they don't let the kids speak like the family language to avoid them getting an accent. It's rough. I can see both sides of the argument there. Okay, this turn, let's Boomerang basics. Are we just let's just go on the tempo plan. Return this guy. Cast another Storm Chasers. Get in for 6. Hopefully we draw a land next turn. Do they have the Lotus Field to go with it? They do. They get to discard, or they have Formidable Speaker, so they can go and get the bear. They discard a Thoracle. Okay, we find land for turn. So we can Shivan Reef. We this town ain't big enough. Return Minstrel. Return Storm Chaser's talent. Play Storm Chaser's talent. Attack for 6. Alternatively, we play Vivi and cross our fingers. I don't like that play considering we know they have this. So let's return this, return Storm Chasers. Cast another Storm Chasers, get in for 6. The problem here is we don't Actually, I guess we can drum counter our drum next turn. Okay, they play a Vestige. Oh, do we just die here to... All right, auto pass. See if we're dead. They would have if they knew what they learned later. Would have let me learn. Yeah, they just figured that learning it would force an accent on me. Didn't learn that I'd be fine as I learned English. Older cousin. Yeah, kids are just amazing at learning languages. Even if you do learn, like, even if you are learning two when you're a kid and both of them are a little bit slower, like, from what I've seen, if you just stay consistent with it, you can learn both of them pretty well. But yeah, well meaning, no harm taken. It is, oh man, this hand is terrible. This hand is a lot better. I mean, it's still a one lander. I think we're just getting rid of Springleaf Drum here. Yeah, so we're keeping 6, getting rid of the Springleaf Drum. See, all right. Play the talent. Do they have the guy? They do not have the Wandering Homie. Let's play Gran-Gran, leave up Spell Pierce. I want to get her down. She lets us combo the easiest. And this doesn't make it super obvious that we have a Spell Pierce. All right, they just pass. Let's attack. We will discard second Gran-Gran. Go to damage. I think we're passing again. Just leave up Spell Pierce and some card draw. There's no way they just... All right. Really glad we left up this Spell Pierce now. All right, we find a land. They don't have an untap guy. I wish we had a Mox Amber. Let's attack. Do we find Mox Amber? We don't. Let's discard Abandon Attachments. Let's just cast Vivi, pass. I don't think there's a way we can just... All right. They have a second Culling Ritual. Not much we can do about that. They have 3 green. Do they have the Minstrel or Splodunking? Okay, they have Minstrel. Okay. We get to untap with Vivi. We are a ways away from having this turned on. So let's cast this. Ooh. We find nothing. We'll take this, something to cast our Boomerang basics on. Getting in with Vivi here actually... Are we attacking with Vivi this turn? Potentially. There are some draws here. Okay. So now we can make triple blue, Cast a... Oh, wow. All right, we are actually just going crazy now. So take Mox Amber, take second flow state, and now we can Mox Amber. We're one. Dang it. Put them to 7. All right, take the 2 spells. Unfortunately, dang, we put them to 1. I don't think it's going to be good enough. Darn. So close. Not sure if there is another way we could have played this, but yeah, we'll concede to Scape Shift. Brutal. Put him to 1. Void Dreaming, 4 Metallic Mimic, 4 Glenalendra Guardian, 2 Brazen Borrower. Yeah, that looks solid. I think anything with Indatha Triumph Karuga. All right, a brew from our opponent here. All right, we'll see. Is this potentially Niv? Could be Niv here. Let's go to combat. Let's discard 4th land. I'm sure we'll find another one. And just plan to accumulate wisdom on their turn. Yeah, I think that Fairies list looks solid. You 3 thoughts, 2 spell period. Yeah, all right, land. Just take another accumulate wisdom. All right, Mox Amber's a good find here. Let's cast Mox Amber. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, I got too focused on Gran-Gran. Sorry about that. 100% should have cast this Vivi first. All right, we find a flow state. I'm sure they have a removal spell for Vivi here. Let's attack first. See if we can find... Okay, we find a Storm Chaser's talent. I don't love it, but we're going to discard... Actually, let's discard second Gran-Gran. Hit them for 1. Cast Vivi. Cast Mox Amber. And now we can flow state off of this and... I played this turn pretty badly. We have second Vivi. We're not going to take third Vivi. All right, so they're ramping. Very likely our board gets swept this turn. Culling Ritual's brutal. Oh, is this some kind of Reanimator deck? Okay, just a Leyline Binding for Vivi. That's beatable. 2 Annul, Spell Pierce, Spell Snare, 1 Thoughtseize, 3 Graph Digger's Cage, go for the throat, 2 Glenolendra's Answer, 2 Fairy Fencing. Unsure about the last sideboard card. 1 left, maybe 1 more Snare. Oh, Bitter Blossom Bear, not Block. All right. Since you're in black, the only thing on the sideboard I've been getting beat by Leyline Binding, or oh my gosh, Leyline Binding, Leyline of the Void out of these black decks. Not sure if it's actually good. Where is... All right. Play second Vivi. Attack with Gran-Gran. Would love to hit any lesson here. All right. A flow state we also will not complain about. And let's discard this. just get our flow state to 1 mana. All right. Good finds here. Return the Mox Amber. Oh man, when this deck does this, I just fall in love with it. All right, make a blue. Abandon attachments. We'll discard a land. I'm sure we'll find another one. All right. Mox Amber. Play second Mox Amber. Keep the new one. Oh man, wish we had one more mana. So now with this, let's just play Storm Chasers. Now we'll make a ton of blue. Let's return Mox Amber, Storm Chasers. There's a pretty good chance we kill them this turn. Play the Mox Amber. We will discard one of the Storm Chasers to draw 2. All right, Springleaf Drum probably wraps this one up. Play another flow state. Oh my gosh, this deck is just nuts. Play another Springleaf Drum. Storm Chasers. Okay. So now we have 1 mana left over, so we can get back this town. Yeah. We'll tap the Small Otter. Get a this town ain't big enough. Now use the 1 mana we have left. We can tap this Otter. Get back Mox Amber plus Springleaf Drum. Oh my god. And now Mox Amber. Oh wait, do we put them to 1? Oh, I miscounted. Whoops. Oh my gosh, we put them to 1. Well, if they have Culling... Oh, and we lose. Good game. Wow. Ugh, that's so brutal. Oh my gosh, we actually lose. Oh. Good game. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. All right. Spell Pierce in against the super slow 3 mana plus tribal deck. Ral's out and we can cut 1 Mox Amber. Yeah, I was thinking about Void since it can come out or be cast later. I put in Graph since I have them already. Yeah, I think Grafdigger's Cage is a good place to start. But one thing is Grafdigger's Cage doesn't do anything against the Izzet decks because they're not bringing back any creatures, but Leyline of the Void is really good against the Izzet Prowess decks. It shuts off the Storm Chasers, and if you're against the Lessons variants, it shuts off the Accumulate Wisdoms. So I think Leyline of the Void is probably a little bit better, but also not necessarily worth, like, that could be the last thing that you upgrade with or like spend rares on. Okay. Let's discard second Mox Amber here. We just need action. Let's draw first. Fine. Okay, just another land. And we'll cast this now just in case we find, all right, a flow state. We can't cast that yet. Alright, we just find another Mox Amber. Let's cast a Flow State first. Alright. We are flooding a little bit here. Let's play land. Get Storm Chasers out for next turn. Let's attack, discard one of these lands. Yeah, we just need to get rid of a land here. As much as I would like to turn on Gran-Gran, we can do that next turn. Yep, Graphicism. Yeah, for Greasefang and Reanimator. But Graph Diggers doesn't stop Greasefang, right? Because the Parhelion is an artifact? Am I missing something there? All right, we find a Spell Pierce. I'm not sure if that's countering anything this turn. Let's play Mox Amber. Really just looking for a Vivi here. All right, we find a Vivi. So now we can cast Vivi. Let's go second Mox Amber first, just so we're always leaving Spell Pierce up. Main deck, counter creatures, Thoughtseize, and kill spells. It's a creature everywhere, I think. One sec, yeah. Okay, let's... Now we can abandon attachments with Spell Pierce up. We can get rid of second Gran-Gran now. Alright, Springleaf Drum. Any card draw here would be bonkers. And that counts as any card draw. All right, we should be winning this turn. Hard to imagine what the Karuga deck could have. Play Springleaf Drum. And now we can cast this Abandon Attachments, discard Island here. Always leaving Spell Pierce up this turn. All right, we just find another Spell Pierce. So now we will add a bunch of blue. They concede. All right, game 3, no changes. This feels like a good matchup. Leave the Spell Pierce in for their combo, and I misplayed in game number 1. We should have had them dead if I just played the Vivi first. So that one's on me. Again, this feels... I don't know what interaction they're running, but it doesn't feel like anything. And... yeah, this pretty... like, letting Vivi untap for multiple turns in a row is usually not a great plan. Never mind, it doesn't. Regardless, I do run it into Amalgams and Creeping Chill constantly. Yeah, just something that I think Leyline is... if you're in black and can cast it, it's probably a little bit better, but definitely the last rares to use. Our opponent is on a mulligan to 5 right now. Void is just better. All right. I do like to have Gran-Gran... oh, what... whoops. Do you like to have Gran-Gran into our opponent's mulligan to 5? Let's see, what is... all right. I don't think I've seen this card since the Guilds of Ravnica pre-release. Let's just plan to abandon attachments one of these lands away. And then cast a Vivi next turn. Exile up to 2 cards. Target player. Wow. Okay. How? What is going on? Oh, see, okay. Target player gains 2 life and draws a card. Really cool card to play in this deck. Do they find third land? They do find third land. We'll abandon attachments. All right, nice. We find another Gran-Gran. So potentially here we could cast Vivi pass and make them have an answer. Alternatively, we can Gran-Gran Springleaf Drum and then have Accumulate Wisdom up. I like that. We do just lose to the combo here, which is really awkward, but they don't have it. So let's tap Gran-Gran here. See what we find. All right, another land. So discard a land here, and let's cast this Accumulate Wisdom. Again, just work closer to get it. Oh, right. A great Accumulate Wisdom there. Put 3 lands onto the bottom of our deck. And we can Vivi plus Storm Chaser's talent here and still leave up Spell Pierce. We'll tap Gran-Gran to make blue. Or we find a Boomerang Basics. Does that change our turn at all? So now we can Boomerang the Springleaf Drum. Yeah, Boomerang the Springleaf Drum. That turns Gran-Gran on. Looks like they have a piece of interaction. We do have the Spell Pierce for this. Let's fire off this Spell Pierce. They didn't have the combo last turn. All right, we find another Boomerang Basics. So we play Springleaf Drum. Now we can tap Vivi for blue. Return the Springleaf Drum. All right, we find another Spell Pierce. So now we can play Springleaf Drum. Make blue with Storm Chasers. Now this is nice. And they just concede. Well, we didn't have them dead there. But we will take a concession. All right, solid opening here. Love having a turn 1 Gran-Gran. See what our opponent is on here. All right. Another Golgari matchup. They have a Thoughtseize, likely just taking the Vivi here. It's the strongest card in our hand. Oh, they take Accumulate Wisdom. So that means that they likely have a removal spell for this Vivi. Let's cast this Flow State right now. It gets sorcery in the yard, so if we draw this next Flow State, we can just discard a land here. We're now onto the draw 2 mode of this. Our hand is, we'll see what they have here. If this hits some more card draw, we do have a pretty strong hand. All right, so they play a Bitter Triumph, taking 3. This turn, let's just develop some more threats on board, get one otter down, and get this flow state resolved. All right, let's take another land, just plus another Storm Chaser's talent. It can be pretty hard for them to grind through all the... Oh, okay, sorry. So this is Greasefang. They do not hit a Parhelion, which is nice. Most decks have been so good for burn that I completely neglected thinking about Graveyard Hate for other decks, yeah. Do you find that burn has a pretty good matchup against these Is It piles? We get to do something pretty cool here. We're just going to put all max pressure on them. Go Storm Chasers, cast a Storm Chasers, play another Storm Chasers off this Vivi. Get in for 3, have 3 otters with the ability to bring back a turned on flow state next turn. In before Culling Ritual, but I can't imagine this deck is playing Culling Ritual main deck, but we'll find out. All right, just a Rafine's Informant from them, so we're not getting Parhelion this turn. So they do discard a Parhelion. Do they have an answer to Vivi? A Mana Confluence. Traverse the Uvenwald. For 1 mana. Okay, so they are just saying, if you can kill me this turn, good game, but I think... So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So we level up. Yeah, they're, I think, just pretty dead to this flow state. Again, I don't love that we have to activate our Vivi on the first one. Oh my gosh. But they chump here and still die. All right, well, very close match. We were dead next turn, I think, to them. And we hit a ton of lands in a row. A little bit brutal. All right, against Abzan Greasefang, we didn't see any monuments from them, because I think they're not on all of the discard creatures. But a Braid is just so good against their deck. So again, we're going to do we're against Thoughtseize deck, so trim a Mox Amber, trim a Springleaf Drum, trim and abandon attachments, and click Submit. Yeah, my burn being able to target mostly any target is what helps me, can push through the counters, answer creatures, and my deck is mostly live draws. Yeah, and Eidolon runs away with it. That sounds about how the matchup should go. Like any turn 2 Eidolon draw is just so bad for them. They cast Academic Dispute, take 2, get a Firebending Lesson, take 2, taking 4 damage to deal with 1 creature. And it's hard for them to win fast after, like, even if they answer your creatures, you're just still drawing so live to burning them out. This is a great hand. We have an answer to their combo. We have 1 lesson, now 2 lessons for Gran-Gran, and we have a flow state. Is there a world here where we abandon attachments, discard Boomerang basics to turn on flow state? It seems a little bit greedy. Let's attack with Gran-Gran here. Oh yeah, and I always forget that, man, Searing Blood is so good now against the prowess decks. Now that you don't have to worry about outgrinding Corey Steelcutter, it just kills everything that they have. All right, let's attack with Gran-Gran. Opponent. Okay. This is greedy. We're going to discard a land. Opponent. It's just 1 damage. You're not dead. It's just 1 damage from Gran-Gran. All right. Do a damage. Maybe. So I do like play Mox Amber here. And we're going to cast Boomerang Basics, return the Mox Amber, and then decide what we want to do. It gets our flow state closer to being turned on. All right, we find this town. Let's cast this Mox Amber again. Give something good for this to target, and then we'll pass. So we're in a pretty strong spot here. All right, just a Grizzly Salvage. That's totally okay. They get back... Did they get... Okay, they get the Godless Shrine. Corey Steelcutter was the best card against me. Being able to go wide against Burn is always a problem. Well, was their best card. Leyline of Sanctity is still the best against Burn. All right, they have a Grease Fang. Turn on full control here. So are we returning this to their hand or just killing it? Is there any advantage? No, we're just killing. So 3 damage. Goodbye, Grease Fang. And this is nice. It turns on our flow states. Start off with a flow state here. All right. Second flows. Let's just take all the land or all the spells that we can find here. Get in with Gran-Gran. We can discard this Abandon Attachments here. Keep this just in case they have a removal spell for the Gran-Gran we have. So glad only Control thinks of playing Sanctity anymore. Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the Pioneer burn, like Bolt Weave still hits them through Sanctity. Skewer doesn't. All right, they get Grease Fang back. Looks like they do have a removal spell for this Gran-Gran. Okay. So we can... Yeah, let's just abandon attachments, discard this extra Mox Amber. All right, Ral here is... we'd really like to find an untapped land. Okay, we find untapped land. So... This is really cool here. So we get to play Gran-Gran. Now we can cast Ral for 3 mana because Gran-Gran reduces all non-creature spells. Now we can, this town ain't big enough. Return just Mox Amber to trigger Ral. Is there any reason to put this back in their hand? No, we don't want to put that back. So trigger Ral here. Now we get to cast this Mox Amber again. Oh man, what a sweet turn. Now we can flow state. All right, we find an Accumulate Wisdom plus land. So we don't get to keep going... Oh, we're actually... Sorry, I got too excited to do the combo thing that... We are getting Grease Fang this next turn. They have a Parhelion. So let's minus our Ral here. All right, we find another Ral. Just discard 2 lands. And we're going to get smacked by Grease Fang, but our Ral's going to take 5 of it. Rolling Vortex can still get through, but it's not enough. Yeah, Control having so many like ways to kill enchantments has been super annoying. All right, so this Ral is very dead. All right, let's... So Overlord ticks down. Okay. Oh, now we have Vivi too. So let's... man, I want to go with the Ral, but we're just going to win the game. Depending on what we hit here, we can cast Ral later. Oh, yeah. All right. We should be able to win here. Hard to imagine that we whiff hard enough with double flow state. Cast a flow state, and that should be enough to win. Well, bummer we didn't get to do the Vivi and the Ral thing, but cast a Mox Amber, and now we're just... This digs us a little bit deeper. All right, this town. We can take this, and we'll make 1 red just in case. Cast this, discard a Shivan Reef, and they concede. All right, I love this deck. I think being able to do this against these other combo decks really makes this version of Izzet worth playing over some of the other prowess versions.